Hello, welcome to the Six Cylinders podcast, and today we have a special Moto GP season review podcast. You can see we are four of us here, myself, Andy, and the two Henrys. So we're gonna start off with a general thought on the season. What were your thoughts on how did the season went? Was it exciting? Things like that. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I thought it was a really good season. Close title fight until the last race. Similar to 2015, really, but with two different teams. Just another really good season, really.
Yeah.
I think it gets better every year, to be honest. Like, as Henry said, 2015, that was a good year. Not because Lorenzo won it, but it was good battles, and it went down to the final round, despite what happened to Rossi.
Yeah, well, it was a very good season. Of course, the title also went down to the last race this season too. But comparing it to the last two seasons, I would say it was better than 2016. But in my opinion, 2015 was a bit better than 2017.
I agree.
Like the two different teams fighting each other, and they weren't both. Neither of them were Yamaha, but like two teams battling it out was very entertaining. Yes, but the intra-team battle between Lorenzo and Rossi was very interesting too. So I would say this ranks second in the last 3 years championships.
Yeah, it was better than last year because there was a close championship fight, whereas last year Marquez won it quite early on. Although I will say it didn't have the unpredictability of last year, because there was 9 different winners last year. Yeah. There was only 5 this year.
That's the only big disadvantage, because last year there was winners like Cal Critchlow at Renault and Maverick Vinales at Le Mans in the Suzuki.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, it's Moto GP, so it's always interesting. It's not like comparing it to F1 sometimes. Yeah.
Well, compared to F1, it's a lot better. I think all of us can agree on that.
Well,
yes. Oh.
Yeah, that's not a thing we should talk about right now because we should focus on MotoGP. But yeah, I think we should go team by team and talk mostly about the factory teams. Maybe we can mention some of the other teams as well, but mainly about the factory teams, and we're gonna work our way up. So we go from Aprilia to Honda. So we start with Aprilia. What do you think of their season? I didn't really pay much attention to them, to be honest. So
one-man team, in my opinion, because like Lowe's, he was new to the Premier Cup class, and he had I'd say really experienced teammate, but he had a good one, and I think he didn't perform up to my expectations.
Yeah, it was a bit of a one-man team, like you say. Looking at it here, Lowe's only scored points twice in the whole season, whereas Aleix Espargaro finished in the top 10 most of the time, really. So they didn't do as well as they did last year, but I think that's mainly because of Sam Lowe's not living up to expectations.
I don't seem to remember him doing that well in Moto2 the season before. I think he came like 3rd or 4th in the standings.
Yeah, he was okay, but maybe he wasn't quite ready for MotoGP.
Maybe another year.
Well, he's moving down to Moto2 next year.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look how many points both of them got.
I don't know. I haven't got that.
Right, so
67
Aleix
points.
Espargaro got 62, and Sam Lowe's got only 5 points. So yeah, he's the lowest scorer from the riders who did all races this season. So yeah, we could say that he didn't really do the best job compared, especially to his teammate, because your teammate is always the guy you want to compare yourself. So yeah, not a good season for Sam Lowe's, and he'll need to do better in Moto2 next season to prove himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
Andy, do you have anything to say?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go to KTM now, a team which, in my opinion, improved the most since the start of the season. They're still not, up there with the top bikes, but they have improved quite a bit since the start.
They've got a good rider lineup as well of Bradley Smith, who is MotoGP proven.
And also
And-
Paul Espargaro. Yeah. And
Not a bad debut year.
I like Mika Kallio. I hoped he will get a seat for next year, but he did well in the races he did take part of. He did take part of, but yeah, still a good lineup. Espargaro got how many? 55 points, and Bradley Smith got 29. So solid job for both KTM's, and yeah, I think next year they'll do even better. Probably go a bit closer to the top bikes, but not very close. Still, they will still be off, but they'll be closer.
Yeah, it was KTM's first year, so we've got to remember that. So to say it's the first year, I think they did really well. And if they keep improving, there are rumours that maybe not next year, but in a couple of years, Marc Marquez might move there. He's Red Bull sponsored. KTM's the Red Bull team, basically. So if they keep improving, Marquez might move there in the future.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Be unexpected, but
It'd be a bit
it
risky, but it'd be like when Rossi moved to Ducati.
And we
years
all
ago.
know how that went. So
very well.
Yeah. Very well, very well.
yeah.
And then Ben Spees in the Yamaha. Anyway,
Yeah. So yeah, let's say that's about the KTM. Then we got the Suzuki. Thoughts on their season?
well,
I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk, Henry.
alright. As a Rins fanboy, I must say that him and Iannone are pretty good as a team. And Iannone, who was at Ducati last season, it was a good signing by them. And Rins, obviously, as it's his first year, he did quite well for himself despite being injured and missing 5 races of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he was
I
only 11 points behind Iannone.
Yeah,
Rins.
yeah.
So for a rookie, I think he did a really good job.
And 4th in the last race at Valencia.
yeah, that was really
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Iannone got 70 points and Rins got 59. So yeah, another team with solid job by both riders.
Although looking at it from the team's perspective, they didn't do as well as last year.
Yeah, that's
Because
what
last year they had a few podiums and a win from Vinales, whereas this year they didn't get any podiums.
They had a
So
rubbish start to the year, didn't they? They didn't look like they were what they were when Vinales won in Le Mans.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
I think that's partly because
yeah.
there was 2 riders who hadn't ridden the Suzuki before, so maybe that's part of it.
yeah, but I mean, didn't Iannone got the front row start the first race and was doing really well then? I think he.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I think he ultimately retired at that race. Yeah, he did retire the first race, but I'm pretty sure he got like a front row start then, so he did start off well, but yeah, the Suzuki didn't perform as well as the last season for sure.
No.
But maybe that's another reason Vinales leaving, of course. I mean, we know that he's a very good rider, and yeah, he was maybe dragging that Suzuki a bit further than what he was capable of, but yeah.
I'm obviously going to be a bit biased, but I think Rins in a few years' time will be ready for that Yamaha seat. with Vinales. He's, well, as is obviously his first year, he has proved that he can do quite well, unlike Sam Lowe's, but he definitely has a chance of becoming a future MotoGP world champion.
Yeah, especially.
European champion.
We'll see about that. But yeah, he definitely impressed during the season. Yeah. Anything else?
Proud of my boy.
Anything else we can say about Suzuki, or should we just move on?
Move on.
Move on to Yamaha, the biggest disappointment of the season to me, at least the works team. They started off well, but then they were absolutely nowhere later on in the season. Like they're really struggling, especially with the tires.
2 wins out of 2.
In
at start. Go on.
in the testing before the season, I think Vinales topped every test session. So I think before the season, I would have probably picked Vinales to win the championship, to be honest. But I don't know. As the season went on, they seemed to get worse and worse. Really.
Yeah, it seemed really promising at the start of the season, but then they were very often getting beaten by their customer team. I think that's how you say it. Tech 3 with Johan Zarco and Jonas Fogge riding it, but yeah, they were
and Van der Mark.
very often getting beaten by them.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem was the tyres.
Yeah.
They seemed to use up the tyres a lot quicker than other teams.
And also, Rossi maybe not being 100% because of the fact that he broke his leg at the midpoint of the season. So.
Yeah. Well, I remember at the midpoint of the season, there was one point when Marquez, Dovizioso, Vinales, and Rossi were all within 11 points of each other.
Yeah, they were. That's what I was gonna say. That they were still doing a decent job, Vinales and Rossi, up until that point, because they were close with Marquez and Dovizioso.
Still had faith in Rossi then.
Yeah, but I mean, with they were struggling with the bike, and they were still keeping up with the top 2 riders. So decent job by the drivers, but they need to improve especially with their work with the tires for next season.
I feel like next year they'll do much better, and as it might be Rossi's last season, he might have a real shot and give it a good go for his 10th world title.
Well, I hope so.
It will be difficult.
'Cause he's come close a few times, but
it will be really. It will be difficult for him, but I mean, if they can go,
If he can be consistent, I think he can.
It will be hard for them, definitely. But if they can get that step further, that they can really get there with the Yamahas, with the Hondas and the Ducatis.
But the only massive disadvantage about Rossi probably not winning is that he's got such a young, promising talent beside him in the other side of the garage. And also, he's obviously almost 40, so that's he's not going to perform up to scratch consistently, like you said, Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, next year, even if Yamaha have a really good bike, he's still got to try and beat Vinales, which is going to be really difficult.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. That if they have a potential championship winning bike next season, I think that it probably is going to be Vinales who gets more out of it. I'm not saying that Rossi will do bad, but I'm just saying that it will probably, if one of the 2 riders is battling for a championship, I would think that it would be Vinales.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually. I think 2015 was probably his last really good chance.
We all know.
And he got so close, but Lorenzo was...
We all know how that went, didn't we?
Yeah.
I remember back then when I hated Rossi. I don't know why, I shouldn't have, but I was so happy when Marquez did that. But now
Why?
I realise.
Well,
I don't
Why?
know, to be
he's
honest. I was
Lorenzo fan,
young
so
and stupid.
he's Lorenzo fan.
Get out.
Why wouldn't? Happy.
But Rossi is on another level to Lorenzo. And he should have won that year.
Oh, let's not get too much in the past. We're talking about 2017 today. But
True.
yeah, I mean, I would say that next year I'm calling it now. They would be in the battle for the championship, and they will be really close. Will they win it though? That remains to be seen. So yeah, I think we can talk about probably the most surprising team of the season, Ducati. Like, if someone told you at the start of the season that Dovizioso would battle for the championship until the last race and absolutely smack Lorenzo, and would you have believed him if someone said this to you at the start of the year?
No.
Like,
No.
I certainly wouldn't.
it's incredible
Especially-
what they have achieved this season. Even though they didn't win the title, the team, Dovizioso did incredible job the whole season, and shame for him he didn't win. Of course, I mean, I'm a Marquez fan, but still, it's shame that Dovizioso lost it in that way. But yeah, it was really, really good to have, this battle between him and Marquez, and it was really close at most times.
Like, when Lorenzo moved to Ducati, I thought, like, oh, it could be like when Rossi moved, and I was like, I don't really want that to happen. But as Ducati were one of the fastest bikes, which I found very surprising, I thought that he could have a shot. And most people, maybe not everyone, but people thought that it would be him. That would be up there with Marquez and Vinales, not Dovi.
Yeah, I was going to ask you before the season, what were your expectations for Lorenzo? Because I thought he would. Ducati had 2 wins last year, so I thought Lorenzo might be able to get at least 1 win this year, but he didn't. So that was a bit of a disappointment, really.
Yeah, it was surprising to see that it was Dovi, not Jorge, who was picking up the wins, and Jorge didn't even won a race, and when he was leading, he either bottled it and fought, or he just slipped backwards.
And that's pretty much every race.
Yeah, I mean, almost every race he had amazing starts and getting the lead, and then he just starts falling, or as happened, where Marquez passed Petrucci on the last lap. It was a wet race. I can't remember where it was, where Lorenzo falls off the lead.
I think it was San Marino, maybe, when it was a wet race.
I'm not sure. Still, that doesn't matter, yeah. A bit of a disappointing year for Lorenzo, but yeah, I mean, he had to get used to the Ducati. It's his first year driving for them, so I mean, I would forgive him for this. But yeah, next season he has to be up there with Dovi.
Yeah.
And I think he will.
I think he'll improve next year.
Yeah.
Definitely. While we're on Ducati, we've got to talk about the team orders in the last race. And Lorenzo not really doing what the team asked him.
Well, I see, he explained after the race, I see his point that, even if he let Dovi through, he still wouldn't have been in the position to win the championship. So let's say, Marquez falls, then he lets Dovi through. I mean, it is, of course. I understand your teammate is battling for the championship. You're not. You gotta let him pass. But I understand his point there. So I'm not gonna really, say he's a bad boy for this. But yeah, what are your opinions on this?
I think it kind of like you should have let him pass, but at the same time you shouldn't have, because as you were saying, Dimmyy, that like he wasn't going to fight for the championship because Marquez had to finish like 10th or something like that, which was very unlikely.
But still, I mean, even when it was Marquez in second behind Zarco, Lorenzo clearly wasn't going to win, so he may as well have let Dovizioso, try and catch Pedrosa and Marquez. I think I was very surprised he did it, really. And I don't think him and Dovi will be very friendly next year, which will be good to watch if they are closely matched.
Especially if the Ducati is, again capable of battling for the championship. It will be a very fiery inter-team battle.
Mm.
And also, Jorge and Dovi have been pretty much good friends since back in the day of 250s when Lorenzo won in 06 and 07. So if their relationship goes downhill, then it should be quite fun to see on track rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope they still, they battle it out, but still remain friends somehow. But yeah, I mean, if next year Ducati are also capable of, winning races, battling for the championship, it will be really good for them and for the sport. Because I mean, when was the last time Ducati won a championship? It was the only time Ducati won the championship actually with Casey Stoner.
Yeah.
So
Long time ago.
2007. 10 years ago, so yeah, they haven't really been up to speed since then. So yeah, I would be happy if all three teams are very closely matched next season too. So let's hope that Ducati are also there.
Well, yeah, because if Lorenzo's up to scratch, it could have been him, Dovi, Pedrosa maybe at the start before Marquez will dominate him, and then he'll be the second team rider. Rossi, Vinales. It would be really interesting to watch.
Yeah. So I guess we could talk about maybe also another impressing Ducati rider which wasn't in the works team. It was the Pramac Ducati's Daniel Petrucci. He made a really good impression this season, I think.
Yeah, he's really good in the wet. He's a good wet rider. He's always near the top three. And was it in Assen when Rossi won? When Petrucci nearly won? He was really, really close.
And also where he got passed by Marquez on the last lap on that wet race, which Lorenzo followed off the lead.
Yeah, that was... I think he's going to win one eventually. I hope so.
Yeah, he did do a very good job this season, and I was gonna mention it when we were talking about the Yamahas, but I forgot that another really good rookie this season was Johan Zarco in the tech-free Yamaha. He also made a very, very good impression, and he came so close as Petrucci. He came so close to winning a race, but yeah, unfortunately for him, he didn't. But for sure, these two are ones to look for, the next few years.
Yeah, Zarco was really impressive this season. Probably the best rookie since Marquez, I guess, because he was just... Some of his overtakes were a bit too far. They were a bit crazy. But, it shows he's not afraid of anyone.
I remember watching the first race of the season and he was in the lead and I was like, whoa, this boy really has some potential in him. And he's in his mid-20s, so he's not like that young.
I think nearer towards 30.
What?
I don't know, but I feel like he's like 28 or something.
I think he's about 27, I think.
Why do I think he was 25? Doesn't really matter, I don't really know. So, yeah, still very, very impressive first season, and hopefully we can see him and Petrucci in the works, Ducati and Yamaha or somewhere else really battling for a championship as well in the, few years' time.
Yeah.
And also Petrucci, he's not the youngest either.
Yeah,
I
as
think
well.
he's like 25.
Yeah, somewhere around that, yeah.
I think when Rossi retires next year or whenever it is, I think Zarco will be the sort of number one choice for Yamaha to replace him with.
Well, it's a bit obvious. I mean, he's driving a Yamaha bike So
Mm.
it's like, obvious
don't
choice.
really- About Zarco to Yamaha, I don't really have a problem with that, but
You want Rins, don't
for
you?
a few seasons, yeah, Rins, he should get that seat as he's younger, but he needs more time to develop. So if Rossi retires next year, Zarco should be there for a couple of years before he might go to somewhere else. And then Rins can go in, and Rins and, I forgot his name, Vinales would be a good duo.
You're such a Rins fanboy, Henrik.
Yeah, I've been here since the start.
Yeah. So we've talked about Ducati, and the only team that's left is Honda, the champions, and they had a very, very good season. Once again, Marquez was very impressive. Pedrosa was
He was okay to
He
begin
was-
with,
yeah.
but then after,
he started the
Assen.
season. The start of the season was okay, but then he dropped off.
I think, that Spanish track, I can't think of it.
Which
what's it
of them all? Jerez, Barcelona.
The other one,
What was
not
it?
Valencia.
Aragon.
Aragon, yeah.
He was. I think when, he was starting to drop off there, and then Vinales, Rossi, not Rossi. My mind's gone blank today. Dovi and Marquez, they just went off and made it a three-way battle.
Yeah, I think when you look at his results over the season, the reason he won was because he was so consistent. I mean, if he didn't DNF, his lowest finish was, I think, 6th somewhere. Whereas when you look at Dovizioso, he had a 13th in Australia, I think he had an 8th somewhere else. So I think that's the main reason he won.
You're talking about
And there was
Marquez
also-
here.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but still, he did have a very impressive season. Some of the races were, especially the race where he started in the lead. It was a wet race at the start. He started in the lead, and he dropped off massively to trick everyone. Then he pitted for dry tires and absolutely went for it, and that was really smart from him. And that's like a highlight of his season for me, at least.
Yeah. Whenever there's one of those races where they have to change bikes in the middle, it's always Marquez who wins, isn't it?
Well,
I
He
remember.
takes risks.
True. I remember it wasn't this year, but it was at Saxonwing a couple of years ago when Bradle was doing so well. I think he was like second behind Marquez, and then Marquez pitted later or earlier, and then Bradle ended up going last. So he always knows when it's the right time to change to slicks.
Yeah.
Rossi
he
made
was.
a bad pole that race.
No, Marquez was really good this season, and that save he made in the final race was unbelievable.
that was the second highlight of the season for him. I still, when I saw a picture the other day. When I look at it, it's just incredible. How did he manage to save this? Still beyond me. Just imagine if he hadn't saved it. What would it be? It would have been the best finish of a race this season has seen. But I mean, Dovi fell from his bike too, so probably wouldn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, still we could say that the Honda had probably the best package this season as a bike, working with the tires and the machinery. The whole thing, like as a package, was maybe the best on the grid.
Yeah, it was the most consistent.
Yeah.
Although I do think that was less to do with them improving from last year, and more to do with the problems that Yamaha had. Really.
Yeah.
I think they were the better team until around Aragon, where the Repsol Hondas and the Ducati just went off, because in the second half that Vinales was nowhere near up to what he was in Qatar and Jerez.
Yeah. So that's all the teams now covered, I think. Do you have anything else to say, or?
No.
Okay, so we've covered all the teams. Now, as part of the plan, we will talk about the lower categories, Moto 3 and Moto 2. So, brief review of Moto 3. Johan Mir doing very well, breaking records, and he did get a Moto 2 seat, did he?
He's moving up to Moto 2.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't remember which team it's with.
it's definitely deserved. He did a very impressive job in Moto 3.
Yeah, I mean, Mir this year was incredible. I think he had 10 wins, which equals Ross's record from back in the 90s, whenever it was. And I would say, looking at all the young, talented riders at the moment, he's probably the best one since maybe Marquez moved up through Moto 3 and Moto 2. Because he just made everyone else... Yeah, but I think it's true. Because he just made everyone look amateur, really.
Video game.
Yeah. He made it look easy.
I haven't been watching Moto 3 as much as Moto 2 because I only watched Moto 2 for Thomas Luthi, but from the races I've seen, Mir has proven that he has got a lot of potential and talent.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see him in MotoGP,
Yeah,
and
definitely one to watch.
we'll see him in MotoGP very soon, I'm sure. And hopefully, if we still do this podcast in 10 years' time, we can talk about Mir winning the championship, because he's, really impressive. And it's like,
And just,
if you compare
I
it,
think he will.
if you maybe make a comparison with F1, which isn't really accurate right now, but he's maybe the Charles Leclerc of MotoGP.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, yeah.
and don't forget, in 10 years' time, Rins will have 5 world titles.
Fanboy here, but yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Now we talk about Moto 3. We can talk about Moto 2 now, and Morbidelli winning the title there. He was very, very good. He had a very good season. Can't really remember anything, crazy or standing out that much from the Moto 2 season. I didn't really pay that close attention to it, so I'll leave you to talk about it for a bit.
You probably know.
Yeah,
more
I
than
mean,
me.
he wasn't as impressive as Joan Mir was in Moto 3, but Morbidelli was still really good. And he's moving up to MotoGP next year, so I think he could be one to watch in the future as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And Tom Luthi, despite him being like 30, he has proven that he's still got talent, despite having that injury which made him pull out at the last race. He could have won the title, couldn't he? I don't exactly remember.
I think it was the race before when Morbidelli won it, but that was because Luthi wasn't in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good fight between those two all season. They were definitely the two best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Morbidelli is actually the first VR46 rider to win a championship. Rossi has that academy for young Italian riders. He was the first one to win a championship.
Whoa. First of many, so... Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully.
Next up, Venati. Maybe.
Yeah, he was also very good in Moto 3.
Dunno.
But we'll see about this. But yeah, we made a brief review of Moto 3, Moto 2. We talked about the champions mainly. So now, as the penultimate part of this podcast, we have the awards for the 2017 season. So each one of us four will we have what's it that 8 awards, and each four of us will pick who wins which or whatever award it is. So yeah, the first one is biggest surprise of the season. Who slash what do you think was the biggest surprise of the season?
I can't think of one, to be honest. There's so many.
I'm gonna say Dovizioso.
Yeah, I think the
Because-
same.
Before the season, he'd only won 2 or 3 races in Moto GP, and this year he won 6. So I think that was a big surprise. No one expected him to beat Lorenzo, and no one expected him to challenge Marc Marquez all the way up to the final race.
Yeah, definitely
So I think
Dovizioso.
Andrea Dovizioso.
Andy, Henrik.
Well,
Yeah, same as Henry.
I'm going to go with Zarco. Because I think when he joined, he did have 2 Moto2 World Championships. And that was proof that he could do some good stuff. But I didn't expect him to do as well as he did. And he should have won a couple of races that season. Especially at Qatar. And at Valencia at the final round before Pedrosa got him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
Yeah.
next award we have craziest moments of the season.
Do I go first?
If you want to.
if you want.
Craziest moment for me was Austria, when Mark tried to overtake Dovizioso.
In the last corner it was very.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
I remember I was.
I've got the same.
I
answer.
remember I was on the edge of my seat, and that time I was like, "Oh, are they gonna crash? Are they gonna crash?" He was
Same.
very entertaining.
So everyone
Yeah,
thinks
I've got
Austria then.
the same answer. And
I think
well, and Japan as well.
as the craziest moment, I think I'm gonna say Marcus safe at the last race.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna say this, yeah.
fanboy.
I agree with Dimmyy on that
Yeah.
one. That was pretty sensational.
Yeah.
Mm.
So next we have worst moments of the season.
Lorenzo season. Yeah, I think he could have.
Just
He
the
should
whole
have done.
season.
Yeah, I think he should have done a bit better. He should have got a few wins, as he was got brilliant getaways, and then he drifted away. He should have won at Austria. Can't think of any more, to be honest, because Austria he got a 5-second gap, and then it all went down to worse.
I can't.
For me, worst moment was France, Le Mans track, when Rossi crashed.
Oh.
I've got the same answer again. Yeah, on the final lap, he was leading Vinales going on to the final lap, and then I think he made a mistake. He ran wide, and Vinales got past.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to catch him, and he fell off. Yeah, that was the worst moment. I couldn't
Oh,
believe that.
I forgot about that.
We all fanboys, are we? Well, if I go by the same logic, I have to say Silverstone because of Marcus engine blowout. But I'm not gonna say this. I can't really think
It was a
of.
Honda.
I can't really think of. I can't really think of a worst moment of the season. It was. They were all pretty good. So I don't know.
That was a big turning point, in my opinion, that race.
I think I'm gonna pass on this award because I can't really think of a worst moment. So yeah, the next one is best race of the season, and I think we all agree this was Austria.
Australia.
What?
Oh, I think Australia.
Oh well,
I think Austria.
you said your craziest moment was Austria. That's why I thought the best race was Austria.
I think
it's
Montegi.
Austria.
No.
Yeah, but Motegi. Oh yeah,
What happened there? Can you remind me?
I'm gonna say Australia.
What happened in Montegi? Can you remind me, please?
Why Australia?
But what happened in Montegi?
Because
Someone?
Henry.
Well, I think Japan, because it was kind of like Austria right at the death where Dovi did the cutback, and also I just think that was a great race as a few riders showed that they've got some talent in the future, like Petrucci.
I'm still gonna say Austria because it was like I was on the edge of my seat the whole race up until the last lap. So
Same as Dimmyy.
yeah,
Austria was a close second.
after best race we have best overtake.
I'm
Anyone?
not sure.
I can't pick one, so
Same,
I'm
to
just
be
gonna say
honest.
all of Zarco's crazy overtakes that he did throughout the season.
I can't really think of like one that stands out the most. There's quite a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's MOTO GP. They're all good.
Unlike F1.
But yeah,
I think Marquez is one against Dovi at Austria before Dovi got past him again, because it was on that final lap where everyone was
yeah, but
on the edge of their seats.
it didn't stick though. I mean, he passed him and lost it straight away. So does it count as an overtake? Because he didn't stick.
It does.
Yeah.
He kind of was in the lead though for like a split second.
Well, let's say it counts then. If you want to say this, I'm gonna pass on this one. I can't think of one that really stands out with the others. They're all pretty good. So
Marquez's overtakes in general this year have been pretty good, like Sarko's.
yeah, I think we've got a few very good overtakers on the grid, and Marquez and Zarco are one of the best for sure. So after best overtake, we've got the worst rider of the year award.
Sam knows. And Lorenzo.
Yeah, I've got to say Sam Lewis.
Well, he was the lowest scoring rider of the ones who did all races, so gotta agree here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I will also mention Lorenzo because of what I was expecting from him. I was expecting more.
I was expecting more as well, obviously, even though I'm a Lorenzo fan. I still thought he would get at least a win.
Well, after what?
But yeah, Sam Lewis.
yeah.
was still-
After worst rider, we have best rookie of the season. Think Zarco.
Definitely Sarko.
I thought you'd pick Rins, Henry.
I was waiting for that.
Okay, Rins then. No, I think Sarko because he,
No, Zarco. Zarco for sure.
Yeah.
like, even if Rins did take part
Yeah,
in
I've
every race, I still think he wouldn't have done better than Ian Only.
Yeah. So we all agree on Zarco
Yeah, I've
here.
got to pick Zarco as
Yeah.
well because. Yeah.
We all agree. Yeah, because finish. And Henry, you can finish. Yeah.
Oh, I think Zarco because even in the first race he was leading, after the first lap or something, which was just crazy from a rookie. And also I think he had 2 pole positions as well.
Yeah.
Which is really good. To say he's on a year-old bike as well makes it even more impressive.
Well, that year-old bike was often beating this year's bike, so yeah. But still, really, really impressive.
Well, that
from a
might be
rookie.
to do with the rider as well.
Yeah.
So,
Surely he's like the favorite for replacing Rossi after he retires for sure.
But
Yeah.
no.
And after Best Rookie, we have the final award, which is for Best Rider of the Season. And I gotta say Mark Marquez here.
Yeah, Mark for me as well.
I say Dovey.
I don't think it's Marquez. I'm going to say Dovey. And I'll tell you, Marquez did ride really, really well. But Dovizioso, to take it to the final race, we all know how good Marquez is anyway. He's already got a few championships. But Dovizioso, because it was such a surprise, and to be in his first championship fight and not really make any major mistakes or seem to lose confidence or anything, I think it's Dovey.
I agree with Henry.
So we are split 2-2 here. So yeah, we can't really decide who is the best rider. So we gotta say equal. Marquez and Dovey both did amazing job this season, and both deserve that title. I mean, at the end, only one can win it, but both deserved it equally. So we could say that both of them were the riders of the season.
Yeah.
So that's it with the awards, and to top off the whole podcast, we can do a little prediction for 2018. What do you guys think about next year?
I don't really know.
I mean, it's MoTo GP. It's unpredictable as always, but
yeah, it's hard to predict, isn't it? I think Ducati will still be really good, but I think Lorenzo and Dovizioso will be challenging for the title. I think Yamaha will sort the tyre issues out, and they'll be challenging for the title again. And it'll probably be a 6-way title fight, I think.
If it is, it will be really good for the sport, for sure.
I think he'll
and
be...
I think Zarco will win.
Go on.
I was going to say, I think Zarco will win a race as well.
Definitely.
That's a bit inevitable.
I think it'll be a 6-way, and also Yamaha will sort their issues out. But I think there'll be a few surprise packages, like between Suzuki and KTM for fourth spot.
KTM definitely. I think they will make a big step in. They will be behind the top 3. They will still be off them, but they'll be behind the top 3 bikes. That's what I think.
And I hope that Suzuki and KTM, Suzuki, I hope they are kind of like what they were in 2007 when John Hopkins and Chris Vermeulen were getting podium places for fun, really. And so obviously Iannone and Rins get a few. And KTM, I hope that they improve so Bradley Smith can show what he's made of.
Yeah.
I hope Yamaha sorts out their tire issues.
Yeah. For the sake of the sport and the championship, it will be good if they do. But
And agree with Henry for the rest.
yeah, I think it will be good if it is a 6-way fight between all the top 3 teams. Yeah, and if we get 1 or 2 surprise race winners, will be really good as well.
Yeah.
I think it's.
If you had to pick one rider for champion next year, though, who would it be?
That's difficult to say.
Rossi.
Probably Marquez. But I feel like...
I think I'll say C.
Marquez or Vinales. One of the 2.
I think Lorenzo, no, but I don't feel like he'll be... I feel like he'll get wins, but he won't be anywhere near. So I say Marquez. He's been unstoppable at the moment.
If Yamaha manages to sort out their issues with the tires, I think that Vinales could stop Marquez, but I still think that
I think
Marquez will be
Dovi
there
can
as well.
challenge again next year.
It will be good if he does. I mean,
I personally think he will drop off a bit. He won't be up like he was this year, but he will be within 50 points of Vinales and Marquez.
I don't think so.
I agree with Andy. I think Dovizioso, now that he's got the experience of fighting for a championship, he'll be even stronger next year.
well, we can only hope so to have an interesting and entertaining championship next season. So, yeah, I think that's been all for this podcast. I think, the plan, that's everything from the plan. So, that has been the MotoGP 2017 season review podcast from us, the Six Cylinders podcast. And if you do enjoyed it, then hit the like button. Comment down below what are your thoughts of it, and we can discuss in the comments down below whatever you want from the season, or maybe let us know your predictions for next season as well, all those kind of
And
stuff.
comment, I love Alex Wins 42. Comment that.
And also subscribe to the channel
Or
to see future MotoGP and F1 podcasts and other content from me, and also subscribe to everyone has a YouTube channel here from this podcast, because we all work together and we all enjoy making those podcasts for you guys. So links for social media, mine and everybody here, will be in the description down below. And I will see you guys next time for the F1 season review podcast. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.